Hello everyone, Ari Bluestein here, the CEO and executive producer of the Sports Fan Base Network, and welcome to another edition of SFBN Classics. This week we wanted to focus on a couple of games from this past basketball season that we covered as part of our National Guard Game of the Week, and they were both in Suburban 1. We're going to start today with Abington versus Cheltenham. Now, when we scheduled this game, we knew that you had talent on both sides of the basketball. We knew that there was a huge rivalry between the two schools because they are so close geographically, but I don't think we knew what type of game we were going to get. The crowd was absolutely ridiculous, packed house in there at Cheltenham, double overtime, thriller, great play, a lot of great potential collegiate players in there as well, and it was just a great one to have on SFBN. Chris Markowitz and Jack Kapp have the call.
Good evening and welcome into Cheltenham High School. Chris Markowitz alongside Jack Kapp here for the Sports Fan Base Network, and we've got a good one on tap. Abington High School coming into this game at 6-1 in Suburban 1 American Conference play, taking on the 6-0 Cheltenham High School Panthers, who are on top in conference. And Kapp, as we prepare for this game, it's worthy of noting that while Cheltenham's unbeaten in conference play, they do have 2 losses on the year, and one of them came last night to Malvern Prep. How much of an advantage does that play for Abington, as they're well rested? They haven't played since Friday, and Cheltenham's coming in less than 24 hours after a loss.
Yeah, less than 24 hours, losing to the Interact team Malvern, which is a team on the rise. They started off slow this year, not having a lot of hype, but they do have Deuce Turner, who's one of the top scorers, in fact, the top scorer ever in the Interact, I believe. And so that was a tough loss. I'm sure we didn't get to see that. But this is a very traditional rivalry. These schools are only 2 miles apart and have been playing each other for about 98 years.
Starting lineups first for Abington: Manir Waller, Ulrich Frazier, Robert Bell, Joseph Bruscia, and Caleb Baker. They're coached by Charles Grasty. And then for Cheltenham, they have Justin Moore, Brandon Hawkins, Jalen McGlone, Michael McLean, and Sean Empfinger, as Cheltenham wins the tip, and we are underway in quarter number 1.
And the Ghosts opening up in a straight man-to-man.
Justin Moore, the sophomore point guard, on the drive into the lane. No good. Might have been partially blocked. Abington down the other end. Layup off the mark from Waller. Panthers trying to run the break here. Now they'll settle into the half-court offense. Brandon Hawkins slows things down. Hands it off for Moore. Moore, the second leading scorer on the team, averaging 14 points a game in just his sophomore campaign. And that's their star, Jalen McGlone, the rider commit on the drive. Can't get it to go.
Took a little contact there, but not enough for the foul. Abington with the ball.
Still scoreless. A minute has gone by in the opening quarter of play. Waller on the drive, tries to kick, got it back and kicked again. Another pass deflection, but it finds Frazier. Bell thought about the 3, drives and finishes.
And there's our first basket of the game. A nice penetration and a soft release there, 2-0.
Now a press by Abington, and a foul is called on Joseph Bruscia. He did not like the call. Joseph Bruscia hit a big 3-point shot in Abington High School's only conference loss to Wissahickon back on January 7th. He hit a 3-pointer at the buzzer of the first overtime. That sent it into second overtime against Wissahickon. And then at the buzzer of second overtime, his teammate Samuel McFarland hit a buzzer beater to send it to triple OT. But Abington could not pull out the victory against Wissahickon, losing 86-83.
That must have been a great game.
McGlone with a deep 3, got them all. NBA range for the senior guard.
McGlone committed to Ryder, as we mentioned a moment ago.
And he's a 6'4 guard. A lot of height, good shot from the outside as a player down for Cheltenham. And a travel is called. They call a travel on Brandon Hawkins, who made a steal but took a tumble to the ground. And Jack Cap, your thoughts on the call?
Well, if he's in control of the ball when he hits the ground there, without a dribble, he travels, and that's apparently what happened.
Unfortunate, my partner's a longtime referee here in the PIAA.
Ref many, many games in this gym.
Waller on the drive, kicks. Russia nails it from the corner.
That's a beautiful release right there.
5-3 lead for Abington with 5:40 in the quarter, and an easy layup on the other end for McLean. Cheltenham has looked good in a couple of transition opportunities. And now a steal. McGlone goes for the slam, throws it home!
And that certainly brought the crowd to their feet. A big, raucous student crowd here tonight in this rivalry.
Russia, couple fakes. Back up top, he could shoot it. Joseph Brusha, the 5'10 senior guard, has some range. Now he kicks to the corner to Baker. Bell now to Baker, guarded tightly by Emfinger. Good defense here by Cheltenham. No open passing lanes allowed on this possession thus far. Waller kicks. Brusha thought about the three. Now he drives and gets denied. Emfinger with the block. On the other end, McGlone, 4-3, money!
And McGlone has it going early on in this game. He bombs a three.
It's a 10-2 run for Cheltenham in the last 3 minutes of play. On the drive now, Waller kicks, and it's taken away. McGlone with a pass up ahead. It's broken up. Fight for possession. And now a timeout is called by Abington head coach Charles Garasti with 4:03 remaining in the first quarter. We'll keep it here. Chris Markowitz alongside Jack Cap for the Sports Fan Base Network. And Cap, it's the senior Jalen McGlone early on, leading the way for the Cheltenham Panthers.
Oh, he certainly has been impressive. It's the first time we've seen him all season, and he's looking really good in the early going here.
On the other end for Abington, got a couple of nice looks from the perimeter. Looks like they're trying to get the ball in the hands of Joseph Brusha in the corner, but really haven't had many other opportunities thus far on offense.
No, they haven't, and the very tough defense. That was great hustle there by McGlone on the floor. Almost got that pass off, and that would have been definitely the pass of the game so far. The play of the game.
Substitution onto the floor for Cheltenham. Salim Payne, the 5'9 sophomore, enters the game, and we saw him playing a little bit with the JV earlier today.
Yeah, he can go to the hoop.
Abington with possession, trailing 10-5. Russia now has it stolen.
Great defense.
Moore passes it up ahead, and Emfinger, whoa!
Whoa, indeed. Sean Emfinger with the emphatic left-handed slam.
How high did Sean Emfinger get up on that attempt, Jack
He
Cap?
was 10 inches above the rim. At least.
Waller kicks, Brusha, denied!
Right into the student section. A very lively student section to our right. We got a lot of information from those kids prior to the game. They were very helpful in doing a scouting report for us.
Sean Emfinger doing it on both ends of the floor.
He certainly is.
A monster slam on offense and then a rejection on a three-point shot in the corner. It's been all Cheltenham the last 4 minutes of play. Another steal. Moore slows things down. Tries to kick, pass broken up. Loose on the ground, fight for possession.
Oh.
Now it travels out of play.
Yeah, the idea was right, but the pass went too far up in the air off the fingertips, and Abington will get a throw in, down by 7 in the early going.
It was Salim Payne on the pass attempt, maybe a little bit rushed having picked it up after the ball was lost.
He saw the weak side pass, it just he didn't execute it well.
Three-pointer by Ellis, it's good.
Antoine Ellis with the first three for Abington.
That cuts the lead down to 4 with 2:45 remaining in the opening quarter of play. Cheltenham up 12-8, three-pointer off the mark. The first miss of the day by Jalen McGlone. Waller kicks. Ellis to the corner now. Frazier. Back out up top to Waller. It was a dangerous pass. Now in the corner. Three-pointer off the mark by Baker. McGlone pass up ahead. McLean slows it down. Now McGlone kicks. On the drive, Payne to the corner. Empfinger back up top. Moore has it blocked. Caleb Baker with the stuff. Bell on the other end, lays it in for the easy 2. And now a timeout taken by Cheltenham. Patrick Fleury wants to talk things over with the Panthers as Abington coming out of that timeout on a 5-0 run. And Cap, what adjustments have the Galloping Ghosts made in the last 2 minutes of play to swing the momentum here?
Well, I think they calmed down a little bit. I think there were some nerves at the beginning of this game. Although I'll tell you something, Cheltenham's defense has been on the mark, and also their ball movement has been very, very sharp. They're finding the open man and really playing as a team. Exciting first quarter.
A minute 57 remaining in a back and forth battle. This is a historic rivalry.
It certainly is.
In college basketball, also college football.
High school.
Excuse me, I'm saying college.
We're so used to doing college games.
I got college on my mind.
Well, we do a lot of college games, yeah. No, but this is an old-time high school rivalry. Going back to the beginning of the Suburban Conference, both of these teams are charter members, both of these schools, that is, going back to 1922, which is about 98 years ago, if I did my math.
What were you doing 98 years ago,
I was just playing in the streets, and being a kid.
Minute 45 remaining.
Cheltenham
with a lob. McGlone can't finish. Empfinger gets fouled on the rebound.
That was a beautiful lob. I know McGlone wants that one back.
A nice setup by Payne to McGlone. Just didn't get quite high enough to throw it down. But Cheltenham now, after the foul, will have a throw-in on the baseline. Foul was against Antoine Ellis, his first. McGlone gets it to fall, and the foul.
Foul by Robert Bell. McGlone is really loading up the points here. He'll go to the line for another opportunity. I got him at 10 already.
I was going to say, if the math serves me right, 10 points. He's hit 2 3-pointers. Had a dunk, has that and one. Free throw pending. Can't make the free opportunity. Lead still at 4 for Cheltenham. A minute 30 remaining in the opening quarter.
I was going to say, this is an Abington team that has had a lot of success in the last 3 years. 3 District 1 6A championships.
They were the Suburban 1 American Conference champs last year, went 14-0 as Frazier finishes for 2. 14-0 in conference play last season. They beat Cheltenham both at home and on the road.
Well, they had the 2 superstars.
Well, I was going to say, they had Eric Dixon last year, who is at Villanova now. He's redshirted, but he ended as the program's all-time leading scorer with close to 2,500 points in his high school career. So losing him to graduation has certainly hurt them this season.
Yeah, he was a force to be reckoned with, no question about it.
Layup is good for McLean.
Once again, great ball movement by the home team. McLean's second basket. Going back to that Abington team, they also had Lucas Monroe, who now matriculates at the University of Pennsylvania. A very fine student, by the way.
And 2 years ago, they had Robbie Heath, who's at Westchester, as a turnover here by Abington. Moore with the lane, lays it in for 2. Give the assist to Jalen McGlone.
A very unselfish assist. A lot of points scored in this first quarter. It's 18-12 with 12 seconds left.
Abington holding for the final shot of the quarter. Bell guarded tightly. Drives the lane. Layup is good.
Very nice.
And that will take us to the end of one. Cheltenham ahead, 18-14. You're watching high school basketball here on the Sports Fan Base Network, presented by PA National Guard.
Exciting first quarter. This is a game that a lot of fans were waiting for, because Abington has been kind of the dominant team for the last
3 or 4 years, they had the three great players, Eric Dixon, Lucas Monroe, and Robbie Heath, that got together and really kind of took the lead in the Suburban One American Conference for the years that they were there. So Cheltenham kind of played a second banana role in that sense. Now, this year, Cheltenham going into this game is undefeated in conference, and Abington has one loss. Abington came in at 6-1. Cheltenham came in at 6-0. Overall, Cheltenham was 12-2. Abington was 8-5. Head coach for Abington, Charles Grasty, in his 11th year, and head coach for Cheltenham is Patrick Fleury. Some of the starters that you're seeing playing in this first quarter and playing well: Joseph Brusha, a very fine shooter, perfect form on his three-point release. Robert Bell starting to load up on the points on the Abington side. And Munir Waller also is a player you want to watch. Jalen McLone is really putting on a show here with a lot of scoring ability, a very fine player, headed for Rider University next year, a Division I player. Missing for Cheltenham is Zari Harrison. He's injured, also a Division I player, signed with St. Francis. You will not see him in this game. Another player we want to mention, and we kind of fell in love with him, and not just because of his name, is Sean Empfinger, a very long player. Needs to gain some weight, obviously, put some upper body muscle together there, but he has made some spectacular plays in the first quarter, and you'll be hearing a lot about him as this game goes along. Another player coming off the bench for Cheltenham that you want to keep your eye on is Salim Payne, a 5'9" sophomore. He contributes later on in this game. This is a very long game. Stick with us. You'll see how it comes to a conclusion, and I'll be back after the second quarter.
Hi, I'm Tommy Green, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. When I was in high school, it was very important to me to show scouts what I could do. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you're a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 86.
Welcome back into Cheltenham High School. Chris Markowitz alongside Jack Cap here for the Sports Fan Base Network. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by PA National Guard. And Jack, an 18-14 lead for Cheltenham as we enter the second quarter of play. But their standout all season long, and early on in this game, Jalen McLone leading the way with 10 points in that opening period.
Yeah, from what we've seen so far, Rider University is getting a very good player, a true stud. He's been very impressive in this first quarter, as has Robert Bell on the other side. I believe he has 9 points in that first quarter.
Robert Bell back out on the floor for Abington. It's the same starting five they ended the opening quarter with, Waller in the corner, gets a screen. Guarded tightly by McLean. Try to pass, it was deflected right back to him.
Yep, a lot of good defense, a lot of hands on the ball for the home team Panthers.
Baker, pass inside. Frazier can't hit the mid-range jumper from 18 feet. Moore, pull-up jumper, can't get the roll.
Moore is a player that is a swing player, plays on JV and varsity. He's the star on the JV team, in my opinion.
Pass to the baseline is stuffed. McLean with the rejection, but cannot find Justin Moore to lead it the other way as his pass travels out of bounds.
Yeah, McLean took a little heat from the coach there on that pass.
Waller to get it in from the far sideline. Feeds the post. Reverse layup good. Auric Frazier for two.
Auric Frazier can definitely score, as he showed right there. Very strong player going to the hoop.
Lead down to 2 for Cheltenham. McGlone thought about the three. Now he kicks. Moore double teamed. Empfinger, beautiful pass to the back door. Layup is good. McLean set it up with the cut. Empfinger found him, and he laid it in for the easy two.
This is great teamwork that we are witnessing here for the hometown Panthers. Very unselfish.
Waller to the corner. Baker, way off the mark, hit the side of the backboard. Moore, transition three, off the mark. 6:19 remaining in the second quarter of play. Ellis kicks. Baker loses it on the baseline, and it's a turnover.
Yeah, he was trying to make up for that ball that hit the side of the backboard. Caleb Baker, a 6'2 junior forward, and he fumbled it out of bounds. He did have a lot of resistance from the defense.
Baker departs. He's replaced by the 6'4 sophomore forward Connor Fields, getting his first couple minutes of action here this evening.
We mentioned a few moments ago Robbie Heath that played for Abington 2 years ago. He is lighting it up at Westchester, leading the nation in scoring for all freshmen, Division I and Division II.
Yeah, Heath having a stellar freshman campaign as a steal by Moore. Layup is good. A lot of turnovers early on for Abington tonight, Jack Cap.
Yeah, no
you got to
question.
wonder what the talk at halftime is going to be like from their head coach, Charles Gratzi.
Well, Charles Gratzi, in his 11th year, has had an enormous amount of success in developing players and teams, and I'm sure he will cover a lot of ground in that halftime. I think that the defense is forcing those turnovers.
A smothering defensive effort so far for the Panthers. Layup on the baseline is good. Waller somehow got it to go with an acrobatic finish.
Yeah, Waller bending his back backwards on that one to get that basket.
McGlone short on the three-pointer.
Yeah, McGlone took off as if he had hit the shot already. He'd be better served to follow his shot.
And now a travel is called against Frazier. Took too many steps. Subs coming onto the floor for the Panthers. Rasheem Deary, the 6'2 sophomore guard, enters the game for the first time tonight alongside Dave Pope, a 6'6" senior.
And I'm watching head coach Patrick Fleury over there on the Cheltenham bench. He is very intense in instructing his team.
Coleman gets inside, layup no good.
Yeah, he needed to use the backboard a little better on that.
Waller
He
pulled
knows
down
it.
the board, in transition now. Acrobatic finish and the foul. Manir Waller going to the line.
Fouls on Salim Payne, I believe.
They get Dave Pope actually with the foul.
Pope got the foul.
Pope got the foul. It's his first. Team's first as well. A very disciplined opening half so far for Cheltenham, with their first foul happening with 4:39 remaining in the second quarter. Free throw is good. Lead down to 1.
That's 5 points for number 1, Manir Waller.
Moore across the timeline, kicks to Coleman. Now a double team in the corner as Pope had nowhere to go with it.
Yeah, Pope got tied up there, and then there were some words, I believe, between the two players, just briefly though, so hopefully that won't come into play.
Well, the call is a jump ball, so it stays with Cheltenham.
Cheltenham on the ultimate possession arrow.
Deary, skip pass, finds Moore. On the drive, lefty layup, no good, but he got bumped. Some contact there, might have been Kareem Boyd. No signal yet as to who they get with the foul. Now they say Manir Waller got him. Yeah, Waller and Boyd both in on that play.
Yeah, number 1 got the foul. Manir Waller.
Moore can't make the first free throw.
On the home team free throws, we get a little bit of an obstructed view here because 2 cheerleaders are assigned their duty to help him shoot that foul shot. I guess is the way we want to put it, and they stand right in front of us.
Well, maybe they helped him get that bounce there on that second attempt.
That's what it was, yeah.
Abington on the other end, trailing by 2 with 4:04 remaining in the half. Waller, guarded by 2, he kicks. Now it's in the corner. And a pass hits the rim. Ellis tried to pass it. Now it's loose. Ball on the ground. Layup is good by Bell. He catches a break and lays it in to tie it.
And Bell is building up the points here. No foul there.
Moore with a tough look. Couldn't get it to go in traffic. Bell, 4-3. Off the mark. Fight for the board.
It's going to be a jump ball again. and this time it's going to go to Abington on the AP arrow. Going to get a sub in here also, I believe, Wilson.
Kyle Wilson Bailey will enter for the Galloping Ghosts.
Kyle Wilson Bailey, that's right, it's a hyphenated name.
And Salim Payne re-enters for Cheltenham. Pass comes into the corner. Wilson Bailey up top. Guarded tightly, he gives it to Waller. Waller guarded by Emfinger. Baseline drive, now he kicks. Up top. Wilson Bailey to the corner. Fields out of bounds.
Yeah, I've noticed now 3 or 4 times Emfinger beating his man to the baseline, and that time he forced a turnover. Very nice defense by Emfinger in this first half.
Emfinger, a 6'4" guard, and he's athletic. He can get up there, but as you mentioned as well, Jack Cap, he can really move laterally for a bigger fella. Being able to shut down those drives to the basket, that's what leads to a lot of his blocks. As here he goes to the hoop, can't finish, man. McGlone on the second effort and the foul.
Let me tell you, if Emfinger hit that dunk, that would have been our high school play of the year here on SFBN so far. He just missed it, but I think he surprised everybody with that powerful move to the hoop.
That would have been on SportsCenter if he flushed that one home.
That might have been.
McGlone to the free throw line. Already has 12 points on the evening unofficially. Free throw's good. Lead back up to 3 for the Panthers. 2:44 remaining in the second quarter of play. We've seen back and forth action all night long.
As well as the Panthers have played, the Ghosts are right there with them in this game, only 3 points down.
A well-coached team, a powerhouse in southeastern Pennsylvania for many, many years. As a whistle for a foul call here, they get Sean Emfinger with a hand check violation. That's his first foul of the contest.
It's a great name, Emfinger. We've never heard that name before. I like it. And he's using those fingers to his advantage, playing defense. Very nice player.
I'll tell you what, Jack Cap, you and I talked about it before the broadcast. I'm on a little workout program right now trying to increase my vertical
That's
jump.
Right.
I might have to talk to Sean Emfinger after this one. This kid is flying through the air.
If anybody's got some ups, Emfinger's got them. So far, anyway.
And now a
Grasty.
timeout taken by head coach Grasty of Abington. He is not pleased with his team's offensive possession on that last series, so he whistles for time. We'll take a quick audio break. You're listening to high school basketball here on the Sports Fanbase Network, presented by PA National Guard. Second quarter action at Cheltenham High School. Chris Markowitz alongside Jack Cap here for the Sports Fanbase Network. And Cap, this has been a thriller so far. We knew that this was going to be a back-and-forth contest coming into this one, a big-time rivalry. But what's been most entertaining to watch has been the athleticism on display, particularly from Jalen McGlone and Sean Emfinger of Cheltenham.
Yes, and also a couple players on Abington have shown some athleticism going to the hoop themselves, but Emfinger has been really impressive, and McGlone can score a lot.
Abington with possession coming out of the timeout. 2:02 remaining in the second quarter. Galloping Ghosts trail by 3. Back into the game for them is Joseph Brusha, the sharpshooter from long distance, as Waller nearly has the ball stolen. He kicks to Brusha, who gets it back to Waller. Pass to the corner now, deflected, but Boyd comes away with it. Tries a backdoor pass to Fields. Ball's loose, and now
that's the accurate
out
call
of play.
there. Yeah, it was knocked away, and Cheltenham had it briefly knocked away again, but when the ball was on the floor, the player from Abington was touching the end line and the ball at the same time.
So Cheltenham catches a break there on the loose pass. Payne on the other end, kicks to Moore.
Oh, yeah.
Alley-oop to McGlone, gets it to rattle in.
Wow, that is really working this time for the basket. McGlone with another deuce.
15 points now for McGlone. Three-pointer money. The soft touch of Joseph Brusha from deep. Nets a 3, lead down to 2.
Oh, yeah, that's a 3. That's a beautiful three, and he turned around and looked at the fans on the other side here, gave him a little word.
Pope tried to answer, but it had his shot partially blocked. Abington on the other end, and it's a Waller drive, layup no good, rebound to Bell, mid-range jumper, falls.
And Bell now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 13 points.
We're all knotted at 28. 30 seconds remaining in the opening half. The Panthers could hold for the final shot.
What a game.
Payne on the drive, tries a pass, but it's broken up. Stolen by Boyd, and he's fouled in transition.
Looks like Enfinger got him. Fans wanted a foul on the other end. It was not called. I think because the player, and I believe it was Moore, retained the ball and retained his dribble.
Hawkins and McLean re-enter for Cheltenham as Wilson Bailey comes onto the floor now for Abington. He replaces Connor Fields. 14 seconds remaining in the second quarter. And now
a double foul.
Double foul comes from off ball.
And these guys got to get separated.
It's double foul is on Kyle Wilson-Bailey and Dave Pope.
Double foul off the ball, down on the block. Those two players were going at it. And it will go to what they call the point of interruption. The point of interruption in this case was Abington in control of the ball, so they will retain possession.
And I'll tell you what, that's a very rare. Hardly ever do you see a double foul call.
Especially that far off the ball. It's to get these players under control.
Bell at the buzzer. Can't get it to fall, but it's tipped in. Ulrich Frazier tips it in, and it is good.
What a play by Ulrich Frazier. He didn't give up on that, and he got the basket. I thought he absorbed a little contact, too.
The referees count the basket.
Wow.
It's a 30-28 lead for Abington High School going into halftime. And Jack Cap, that's a half where Cheltenham dominated for most of the time, but towards the tail end, Abington able to take that lead into the half.
Yeah, clearly Abington is playing on a par with Cheltenham tonight. The traditional rivalry, and you never know who's going to win one of these games.
So after the first quarter, it was Cheltenham 18, Abington 14. Abington puts together a nice run in the second quarter and takes their only significant lead of the game at halftime, 30-28, so a 2-point lead. The only other time that Abington had led was the first basket of the game. Some great athleticism shown by McGlone and Sean Enfinger of Cheltenham. And Cheltenham pretty much controlled most of the first half pace, but a great comeback triggered mainly by Robert Bell, who ends up with 13 points at halftime, and also Joseph Brusha chipping in with 2 3-pointers. He is the shooter, as we mentioned earlier, between the first and second quarter. 15 points for McGlone and 6 for Sean Enfinger in that first half. So we go to the third quarter. Once again, Abington up 30-28. And we'll be back after the third quarter to give you a little more information. See you then.
Hi, I'm Marty Bystrom, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. In my experience in Major League Baseball, I know how important it is for high school athletes to gain exposure. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you are a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866.
It's halftime at Cheltenham High School. Chris Markowitz alongside Jack Cap here for the Sports Fan Base Network. Abington High School with a 30-28 lead over Cheltenham. And Cap, in that first half of play, throughout most of the period, Cheltenham looked like they had control of pace of play. They were the more athletic-looking team, but towards the tail end of the second quarter, Abington went on a run and took the lead into halftime, thanks in large part to their production from their guard, Robert Bell.
Yeah, Robert Bell chipping in with 13 points. Is that their only lead of the half, I believe?
That was led That was their second lead of the half because their first lead was the opening basket of play in the first minute. First time they led since the opening minute of play.
Well, that's a great run by them to come back and take a 2-point lead against this team, because this is a very good Cheltenham team, and Abington is right in there with them.
He led the way with 13 points, and then Joseph Brescia with 6 points on 2 3-pointers as well for Abington. He looked impressive in limited time on the floor. On the other end for Cheltenham, it's been the man who's been doing it all year, Jalen McGlone, leading the way with 15 points, showing off his athleticism and his range from deep.
Yeah, he's been showing off everything so far, and we see why he is a Division I player. And Ryder has a very good program, by the way. They're getting a nice player.
Sean Emfinger also was a name that we called out quite a couple times, and he was a sight to behold with his athletic feet. Some of those slam dunks and blocks he had in that first half were very impressive.
I believe he's got at least a 40-inch vertical, which is right up there with yours, I believe.
I wish.
Okay, well, anyway.
Hopefully in a couple months.
You're almost the same height as him.
Yeah.
But he was well above the rim on several plays there. And that one play where he went to the hoop, I mean, I would have lost my lunch if he slammed it there. That was really athleticism going off the charts there.
Well, we'll take it this time to reset. It's a 30-28 lead for Abington heading into the second half of play. We'll take another break. When we come back, second half action here on the Sports Fan Base Network. Welcome back into Cheltenham High School. Chris Markowitz alongside Jack Cap for the Sports Fan Base Network as we are moments away from the second half of play. Abington with a 30-28 point lead over Cheltenham as Robert Bell, the junior guard, led the way for the Abington Galloping Ghosts in the first half with 13 points on the offensive end, and Abington was able to overcome a lot of turnovers that Cheltenham managed to force early on in this game.
And now they have the lead. I mean, this was a great first half. I hope the second half is just as good. These schools have been playing basketball for, I'm going to say, over 100 years. I know in the SOL for 98 years, both charter members. This high school, Cheltenham, goes back to 1884 with a number of very famous alums, including Reggie Jackson, who was an MLB, Hall of Famer, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. How do you like that? Foul start this second half. And here's one, the famous author Larry Atkins, who's written several bestsellers, went to this school. I mean, this school has a heritage, and so does Abington, for that matter.
Two storied high schools and longtime rivals battling it out here tonight as Moore's first free throw is good to cut the lead in half.
Our first points of this half. He now has 6.
Cheltenham will be traveling left to right on your screen in this half, dressed in their home white. Abington going right to left, dressed in their road maroon. Waller kicks. Now on the baseline, that's Baker back up top. Bell settling into the half-court offense, resets. Now it finds Waller, he gets it back to Bell. Not much movement so far for this Abington offense, just swinging around on the perimeter. Waller double teamed, kicks it back up top to Frazier. Guarded tightly by McGlone. Somehow finds Bell inside, who gets his own miss and puts it back in.
Bell has been very impressive, especially on that basket. Never gave up.
Emfinger has his pass inside broken up. And now this pass trickles out of play off the hand of Ulrich Frazier, targeting Manir Waller.
Yeah, I think what happened, Ulrich gave up his dribble when he didn't want to, and then got a little flustered and had to throw it deep into the corner and did not throw an efficient pass.
It's a 32-30 lead for Abington. This game with major conference implications, as this is the number 1 and 2 team in the Suburban 1 American Conference this year. Cheltenham 6-0 as this layup is good by Michael McLean.
I think clearly these are the two best teams in this conference. Certainly they have shown that tonight.
Abington at 6-1 in conference play. Their one loss in triple overtime as a turnover now by Waller targeting Baker on the alley-oop.
Yeah, Baker just didn't seem like he sensed that one coming. I thought it was a decent pass, and it just kind of went through him and out of bounds.
McLean on the other end now kicks to the corner. That's Emfinger. Back up top. McLean on the drive. Skip pass. McGlone swings it. Hawkins way off the mark. Rebound McGlone, and he is fouled on the shot attempt.
McGlone's going to go to the line for his first opportunity to score in this half. He ended that first half, as we said, with 15, the leading scorer for both teams.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by the PA Army National Guard. For more information about how to attend college full-time with free tuition and serve in the Army National Guard, contact Master Sergeant David Lissenbigler of Team North Philly at 267-615-6146. Both free throws on that trip to the line are good for McGlone as he adds to his totals up to 17 points now to lead all scorers. And now an impressive drive by Munir Waller to tie the game at 34. Moore into the lane, easy floater.
Back and forth they go. Both teams showing a lot of talent on the offensive end.
This game seesawing all evening long as this pass into the corner by Baker travels out of bounds.
Yeah, Baker could have been called for a travel there, I believe, but the ball went out of bounds anyway. I thought his knee hit the ground while he was in control of the ball. Maybe not. Regardless, it is Panther ball.
Brandon Hawkins goes to the sideline to take a breather for Cheltenham. He's replaced by Travis Coleman. Moore guarded tightly by Brusha. He kicks. Gets it back from McLean. Deep three-pointer. Can't get it. Baker hauls in the board. On the other end, layup no good. A tough take there by Frazier. Ball out of play. Last touch by Cheltenham. And if Frazier would have gotten that one to go, Jack Cap, that would have been incredibly impressive as he had to fake on the left side of the rim through two defenders and lay it up on the other side of the hoop with a reverse.
Just didn't have quite enough left after all that time in the air.
I don't know if Dr. J could have made that finish.
Wow, that would have been a very nice layup.
Waller now inside, no good. Baker with the putback.
And it's good to see Baker getting that shot. I believe that's his first basket of the game. He had a rough go so far, and that was a very nice comeback for him.
4:52 remaining in the third quarter, all tied at 36. Moore kicks. Now on the drive goes Coleman. He drops it off for McGlone, who finishes for two more as he is adding more and more points to his total, now up to 19.
And this team, the Panthers, that is, Cheltenham Panthers, a very unselfish team, really working together and really understanding the spacing on the offensive end of the court, every one of them. Well coached.
Waller to inbound for Abington, gets it in to Brusha, now gets it back on the far sideline. Brusha kicks up top, that's Bell. 4:29 remaining in the third quarter. It's a 38-36 lead for Cheltenham. Robert Bell up top, swings it to Brusha, left wing. He dribbles, picks up his dribble, kicks to Baker. Double teamed in the left corner. Now Brusha up top, finds Bell, who swings it in the right corner. That's Munir Waller driving baseline. And an offensive foul. Waller lowered the left shoulder and plowed through Travis Coleman, and Coleman with a good job of getting to the spot first.
That's right, and that could be considered a block charge situation, although just pushing off with the forearm or the shoulder is the same as a player control foul in a block charge situation. Either way, the foul goes to him.
Cheltenham with possession, leading 38-36 with 4 minutes and 1 second remaining in the third quarter. Moore crosses the timeline, loses his dribble into the half court, and it's taken away by Waller.
A little too much dribbling.
Waller double team now, and his possession is stolen. Now Moore goes in for the layup and lays it in on an assist from Coleman.
When you talk about getting up in the air, Moore could have dunked that ball, and he's 6'1". At least he's listed there.
The full court press from Cheltenham continuing to bother Abington, but a three-point answer on the other end by Caleb Baker.
Caleb Baker heating it up now, getting his confidence back.
More kicks to the corner. That's Coleman. His pass inside is pulled in by McLean, who has it taken away.
And then Baker blocked that. 3 nice plays in the last minute by Caleb Baker.
Waller on the other end, kicks to the corner. Frazier on a drive. And he draws a blocking foul. It was close to a charge.
It's a good call. I don't think the defender got to the spot with his torso facing his opponent, and therefore the foul is on him. There is no restricted area in high school basketball, so we don't even have that as a consideration.
McGlone was the man who bumped him. It's his first foul of the contest. Mascot making some noise in the student section.
The mascot's going to tear this place down here.
Frazier knocks down the first free throw. I'll tell you what, you were mentioning how old this rivalry is, Jack Cap. I think they can hear the mascot back in the opening years. He's making that much noise.
He's waking up the old players. Yeah.
McGlone, transition 3. Can't knock it down. So it was a 1-1 on the free throw trip.
That's right.
We're all tied at 40. 2:45 remaining in the third quarter. It's been a back-and-forth contest all night long. And now another block by Emfinger, his third of the contest.
Emfinger once again extending the long arm of the law and those, I'll call them M fingers because that's what he blocked the ball with. He is looking very, very good as a defender.
It was just a matter of time before someone
Used
harped
that
on
name.
that reference.
Had to do something with it. Nice move.
On the other end, the tip in.
And there it is again.
Right on cue. Sean Emfinger, have yourself a night.
Emfinger with the follow. Once again, the long arms. And
There's another block.
Did he block that again, I think?
It looked like McLean has the layup good for 2. Travis Coleman on the other end. Man, a defensive display being put on by Cheltenham here tonight.
No question about that. Emfinger now has, I believe, 4 points in the game.
And at least 3 blocks.
At
Baker,
least.
4-3. Long. McGlone hauls in the board.
What a game we have here. Traditional rivalry living up to all its expectations.
Moore loses his dribble. Taken away by Waller. Ellis, 4-3. Hits it in transition. Antoine Ellis with the courage to pull up on the transition, and he knocks it in for 3 points.
And that's his second three-pointer of the game. This is a 1-point game in favor of the home team, Cheltenham Panthers. We are seeing a very exciting contest here.
Timeout taken by Abington, but we'll keep things here. Chris Markowitz alongside Jack Cap here for the Sports Fan Base Network. And Cap, you see that transition 3. I just have to ask you, back in your day, if you're Antoine Ellis and you pull up from deep on transition like that, are you getting put on the bench by your coach? Because that's something that, as basketball has evolved, that was frowned upon once upon a time.
It was, and it has to do with having your teammates in position for the rebound, especially on the weak side. But it may be a situation where the coach has said to him, you can take that shot because I know you can hit it. Maybe that's the situation. We don't know. But
it's just amazing to see how the game's evolved.
It has.
That is a common shot there now.
You're right. In my day,
in high school, that you got to be able to make those shots.
You better hit that shot.
Any starting 5, unless you're 6'10" and throwing stuff down and you're D1 prospect, you got to be able to hit from the perimeter now.
And don't forget, in my day, it was before the three-pointer.
Right.
So it only counted as 2.
Oh, I forgot.
That's way before the three-pointer.
My question doesn't even qualify for you asking about a three-pointer.
It was just a long 2. I mean,
you're definitely on the bench then if you're pulling up the transition
I don't know
for that.
Folks who watched this game remember Pete Maravich, but Pete Maravich didn't play with a three-pointer, and yet he averaged 47 a game as a senior in college. Imagine
44
that.
for his career.
44 for his career, that's right.
At LSU.
And 47.
I mean, his father was
a
the
senior.
coach, so of course you got to shoot every time.
Well, but he was great.
Of course. I'm not trying to knock the great Pistol Pete.
The great Pistol Pete, yeah.
Emfinger on the other end, tough lefty layup, gets it to go.
I'll tell you, I love Emfinger, and I hope he gets some D1 attention after this broadcast.
Well, that was an M finger roll finish.
It certainly was, and he just stole the ball.
Ball's loose. Battle for possession, and now a whistle.
That's a great dive, a momentum dive there. I think it was McGlone. I'm not sure. No, it was Travis Coleman diving on the ground. Great hustle. The ball did go out of bounds, however, retained by the Ghosts.
Abington with possession with 1 minute and 8 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Cheltenham up 46-43. Bell dribbling in the corner, swings it up top. Waller now to the right wing to Ellis. Now he gets it back. Waller on the drive. Picks up his dribble. Now up top, that's Bell. Guarded by Emfinger. Look at the wingspan of Sean Emfinger.
Yeah, he's a defender. Look at this.
Nearly gets a steal.
That's a tough call.
Last touch by him, diving to the ground, trying to save it out of play.
That's a very tough call. I think the official got it right, but either way, he could have called that. Both feet hit the ball, I believe.
Joseph Brusha checking into the game for Abington. He replaces Caleb Baker with 40 seconds to go in the third.
This is our high school game of the year so far tonight, and I hope it stays just that way.
Ball comes in to Robert Bell. He crosses the timeline, now kicks to Waller. Right arc, Waller into the lane, gets it to fall.
Just one great play after another by both of these squads here in the SOL.
Now on the other end, Cheltenham trying to answer. Could hold for the final shot of the quarter as a timeout is called with 16 seconds remaining in the third quarter of action by Cheltenham. A wise decision by head coach Patrick Fleury trying to set up one final play before the clock expires here in the third.
That's a full time. Both teams have used 2 full timeouts, I believe. So they each have 3 left, 2 30s and a full. And we should mention, since we talked about the alums here at Cheltenham, some famous alums from Abington. Stephen Schwartzman gave $25 million, he's a financier, to his alma mater, the largest gift ever given to a public high school. $25 million.
How would you like to have $25 million just to give away?
I wouldn't know what to, know what to do.
I'm
with
just
it.
saying, if you've got 25 to give away, what do you got overall? That's good stuff right there.
You got to be worth $2.5 billion, I would think. I'll tell you, being a millionaire isn't what it used to be, but $25 million.
What would you know about that, Jack Cav? Could you educate?
I'm actually a thousandaire. And some other famous alums here. Wayne Amber played in the MLB. Bob Saget, a famous comedian, was on the TV show.
Of course.
Forget the name of it. Sean Wooden.
He's in 2 on Full House.
That's right, Full
and he's
House.
also the voice of the father in How I Met Your Mother for flashback
really?
scenes. Yeah,
That's a great show.
He doesn't play Ted Mosby, but he plays. He
didn't
voices
know
the
that.
character Ted Mosby for flashback scenes when he's talking to his children. So
I only watched the show a couple times,
Yeah.
but a lot of and Sean Wooden played in the NFL.
Mhm.
Ellie Daniels was a 3-time winner in the Olympics, bronze, silver, and gold.
wow.
How about that? Yeah. A little research there.
Cheltenham now with possession. 10 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
Oh!
And now a steal. Waller down the other end, lays it in. Waller came like a freight train. Half-court heave by Moore. No good. Wide right. And that will take us to the end of the third quarter as Abington steals the lead in the closing seconds of play. We'll head to the fourth. It's a tight one. Don't go anywhere. You're watching high school basketball here on the Sports Fan Base Network.
You can't get much more evenly matched than Cheltenham and Abington. And we mentioned on the air there that they've been playing for close to 100 years in the Suburban 1 Conference. They're probably the 2 closest teams geographically in the state that play at the same level. So it's always an exciting game, and this certainly has lived up to that. 1-point lead for Abington going into the fourth quarter, 47-46. This game has certainly lived up to its expectations once again. Abington opened in a 2-3, and Cheltenham opened in a 2-3 with one-man pressure in the backcourt. Both teams were getting easy baskets early in this quarter, and Cheltenham was playing very unselfishly with great ball movement. So this is what you saw in the third quarter. Stick around for that fourth quarter because the ending is very interesting and something you want to see. Caleb Baker is a player you want to keep your eye on. That's number 13 for Abington. 3 really nice plays in a row, including a three-pointer for his third bucket, but he comes on strongly in the end of the fourth quarter, as you will see. Stick around. I'll be back after the fourth quarter and after that also.
Hi, I'm Marty Bystrom, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. In my experience in Major League Baseball, I know how important it is for high school athletes to gain exposure. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you are a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866.
Fourth quarter action in a tight Suburban 1 American Conference battle between the first place Cheltenham High School Panthers and the second place Abington High School Galloping Ghosts. Chris Mark alongside Jack Cap here for the Sports Fan Base Network. And Jack, this was a much anticipated game for us on our calendars. Yeah. We knew this was a big-time rivalry. These were the 2 top teams in this conference heading into tonight, and it has lived up to the expectations, if not exceeded them so far.
I think you're right on the money with that comment, and we did circle this on our calendars. Out of all my high school games, I thought this would be the best, and it certainly is. It's lived up to the expectations.
Abington with possession of the basketball to start the fourth quarter of action. Abington holds on to a 47-46 lead as this pass deflected, and Waller can touch it in the backcourt.
Smart move by him.
Ellis kicks now. That's Bell. Tries to skip pass. It's stolen. Moore on the other end. Draws the contact and will go to the line. Antoine Ellis bumped him on his pass to the hoop.
Yeah, this is a very, very good officiating crew. I really haven't seen any mistakes at all. A lot of savvy in this crew, a lot of seasoning, and a lot of experience. I hope I didn't just jinx them, Chris, but so far they've been good. That call was made by the center official, table side, very nicely done.
Justin Moore knocks home the first free throw to tie it at 47. Moore, a sophomore guard, the second leading scorer this season for Cheltenham.
Yeah, he's 14 a game, I believe. And we see why. He's got 9, I think, or 10 now. I think he's got 10.
Makes the second free throw. Cheltenham back in front. A lot of lead changes here tonight between these two squads. Ellis, baseline drive, drops it. That's Frazier. Kicks it back outside to Ellis. Now a high lob pass, stolen away. Emfinger on the break. He drives, has it stripped from behind. Waller going the other direction. Into the corner, that's Bell. Now Ellis up top, they'll reset into the half-court offense. Now a whistle.
There's a timeout called by the referee. It is his timeout. I'm not sure what it was about.
2 subs coming onto the floor, 1 for each team. Joseph Brusher re-enters for Abington. And Travis Coleman comes back onto the floor for Cheltenham.
Head referee tonight is Craig Belcher. He's over on table side near the bench of Abington. And still.
Steal and the layup good on the other end by Coleman. Lead up to 3 for the Panthers.
Coleman's second basket of the game.
Waller now.
Emfinger's third foul, I believe. We'll know in just a moment here.
Well, Waller draws the foul. Entering the game for Cheltenham is James Marino for his first minutes of action, the 5'8" sophomore guard. And it's worth noting, Jack Cap, Zari Harrison, the St. Francis commit for Cheltenham, has not played tonight.
He's injured.
He's sidelined tonight with an injury, so Cheltenham performing well without one of their best players on the floor. Now ball loose on the floor, fight for possession, and a tie-up, a jump ball is called.
And once again, a good call by that referee. that call has to be made just as he did there. Otherwise, you're going to end up with guys wrestling with each other. Even though there was no dual control there, it's got to be called.
Possession arrow pointing to Abington. Excuse me, it should be to Cheltenham, and they correct that.
It is Cheltenham.
So initially they had Abington receiving the inbounds.
Yeah, Cheltenham will get the ball. I'm not sure what happened. Coach out on the court, what was that about?
I think there was some confusion about who was getting the possession on the jump.
Okay, he really should not be out there like that, but he made his point, and maybe he just said there's some water on the floor or some sweat, and that's why I came out.
And James Marino, as we mentioned, he entered the game a few moments ago. Now immediately goes back to the bench. So Marino in for probably 30 seconds before he is replaced again by Baker.
Not much action from Marino. If the Marino family is watching, we're sorry to see that, but maybe he'll get back in a couple moments.
Cheltenham on the offensive end, 6:08 remaining in the contest. They have a 3-point lead. Moore up top, finds McLean. Back to Moore. Gets a screen. Now he kicks. McGlone can't get it. Put back, no good. McLean couldn't finish on the putback.
And McLean's got to be upset with himself. He needs to score that follow-up.
Baker thought about a three, but he kicked it back to Waller. Now he feeds a pass into the post, but it's stolen away.
Yeah, that pass has to be stronger. It had no velocity on it at all.
Moore can't get the floater. McGlone with the putback.
McGlone saw that opportunity, jumped in there, never hesitated. McGlone is adding up the stats here. 21 points.
A 5-point lead now for Cheltenham with 5:12 remaining in regulation. As Waller drives, loses the ball, but
he was hit.
Draws contact.
He went in, he was going to just probably bank it straight away, and he was hit on the wrist as he went in, and that's why the ball came loose.
Foul is on Travis Coleman, his first of the contest. Just the third foul of the half for Cheltenham. It sends Waller to the line.
Waller had 5 in the first half. These will be his first points in the second half if he hits the free throws. All that noise you hear is from the student section and the mascot.
And it works as Waller's short on the first free throw attempt.
Definitely shook up Waller. Or maybe shook up Waller.
Substitution onto the floor for the first time tonight for Abington is the 6'6" senior, Zaire Olasawar.
Yeah, we spoke to him before the game. He has an unusual spelling on his name, and we needed to get the pronunciation there. He is the biggest player on the floor, number 42 in red. A massive presence there. Let's see what he can do.
Waller no good on both free throw attempts. Cheltenham on offense now. Slowing things down in the half court. Looks like a 1-2-2 zone.
It is.
Not a lot of holes against this zone so far for Cheltenham. Moore now guarded tightly.
It's got to be a foul.
Loses possession. No foul is called. Abington on the other end. And a block. A clean block by McGlone, denying Bell for the layup.
Well, all the great things we've said about McGlone tonight offensively, that was a tremendous defensive effort right there. And he almost knocked the ball off of the offensive player.
I thought for certain there was going to be body contact and Robert Bell going to the line, but somehow McGlone was able to get all ball on that defensive effort.
And once again, sweat on the floor. It's cleaned up by the referee. And substitution into the game.
Brusha enters. He replaces Connor Fields with 4:30 remaining in regulation. Waller to get it in on the baseline. Pass comes up top to Brusha. Frazier in the post. Kicks it outside. Brusha, 4-3. Short. Emfinger pulls in the board. And now a timeout taken by Cheltenham with 4:16 to go in regulation. Pat Fleury wants to talk things over with his team. We'll take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. This one going down to the wire. You're watching high school basketball here on the Sports Fanbase Network. It's a 5-point lead for Cheltenham High School over Abington with 4:16 remaining in regulation. Chris Markowitz alongside Jack Cap here for the Sports Fanbase Network. And Cap, this is a game that will have major implications for the Suburban One American Conference title, as Cheltenham came into this game at 6-0 in conference play, Abington 6-1, so these teams 1-2 in the conference. If Cheltenham's able to come away with the victory, Abington would have 2 losses. Cheltenham would remain unbeaten, and they'd be in the driver's seat essentially for the conference championship.
And these two teams play each other last game of the season. So if this one was scintillating, tune in for the last game of the season also. Hopefully we get that game.
And now a double dribble is the call. Travis Coleman picked up his dribble, put it back down on the floor. The referee on the baseline saw it, and that's the correct call.
Very sharp officiating. Craig Belcher, the official on that call. I think he caught it on his hip, and it got stuck there, and then he started a new dribble.
Abington with possession, trailing by 5. 3:43 to go. Baseline drive, way off the mark by Fields.
And once again, Empfinger getting his fingers on a ball right in front of the Abington bench, causing a disturbance.
Into the corner, Empfinger thought about the 3. Now he drives, kicks it. McLean up top. Moore on the drive. Into the lane, has it rejected, but somehow Cheltenham gets it back.
Yeah, Moore went into a thicket of defenders.
And now a lot of pressure, but a foul is called on Brusha, trying to sneak behind Coleman on the double team.
Yeah, Brusha caught an arm there. He's hearing it from the crowd because he's the one who turned around and I'm not sure if he said something or looked at the students section here to our right, but he fouled in that play. Ooh, that was close to a handoff.
In the far corner now, Empfinger kicks it back up to Coleman. Now Empfinger, baseline drive, up top. McLean, 4-3, money! Michael Money McLean with the biggest three-pointer of the night.
And that is 5 points in this half and 6 in the first half. He's got 11, but let me tell you, that was ball movement that caused that. Great, unselfish ball movement. A timeout. Charles Grassley wants to talk to his players. I believe it's going to be a 30-second timeout.
2:46 remaining in the game. We'll keep it here. Chris Markowitz alongside Jack Cap here for the Sports Fan Base Network. Tonight's game brought to you by PA National Guard and Cap. What a contest here tonight. A lot of players for Cheltenham stepping up in this fourth quarter. We've talked about Empfinger all night long. He's had some plays, but a huge three-point shot by Michael McLean in the corner.
Huge shot by McLean, and again, the great ball movement which led right up to that. And getting back to Empfinger, he does a lot of things to disrupt the offense of his opponents that don't go into the book as a statistic, but I know the coaches noticed that. If he can gain a little weight, he is a senior, so he's 6'4", and I'm going to guess his weight at 170, 175. He needs to put on some poundage, so there are some good pizza shops in this neighborhood. I believe we can recommend a couple of them for him and add the pepperoni and sausage on top of it. He needs to get into the weight room, all kidding aside, because he has Division I athleticism and talent.
Well, that talent's been on full display this evening with a lot of athletic plays. Abington with possession, trailing by 8 with 2:37 remaining. And now a whistle for a foul in the hand check variety.
There was a lot of reaching going on there. The referees let it go the first time because there really was no impediment. But the second time they got the defender on that.
Jalen McGlone charged with the foul, his second of the night.
Yep.
Waller dribbling against Coleman. Enters the lane, drops it off. Layup is good. A beautiful find as Fields finishes it.
Yeah, that was a real nice weak side pass, and I think that's Fields' first basket of the game.
Abington with pressure here on the defensive end of the floor, trying to force a steal, and now a foul is called as Robert Bell grabs the right arm of Travis Coleman.
I'm sure Robert Bell is not happy to have picked up that foul, although it is only his second foul, 6th on the team. The next common foul will result in a bonus situation, 1-and-1.
Cheltenham with a 6-point lead.
McGlone
double teamed, has it stolen, no whistle. Waller on the other end, spin move, no one home, throws it away.
Not a smart spin move. Charles Grassley very unhappy.
And now a steal by Abington. And a charge is called. Frazier unbalanced entering the lane, and he is called for the charge.
And what a take down there. Was it number 20? Who took the foul? I think it was Michael McLean took that foul.
A lot of confusion as for a second it looked like they are giving possession to Cheltenham. I didn't see, it might have been McLean who took the charge.
I think it was. And we have, once again, a referee doing double duty as the janitor here, the cleanup man with the towel. You ought to leave the towel right there. It's the third time down court there that sweat has come into this situation.
Minute 50 remaining in regulation. It's a 6-point lead for Cheltenham. They have possession. McGlone inbounds, pass out of play, last touch by Justin Moore, so it's a turnover.
And we're going to give a lot of credit to Robert Bell on that. His positioning on that bounce pass caused it to go out of bounds, and now his team will get an opportunity here, down by 6 with 1:50 left.
Waller will inbound right in front of his own bench. Looking left, thought about giving it to Brusha. Now he finally gets it in. Gets it back from Brusha on the right arc. Waller with a spin move against McGlone. Layup, good, high off the glass.
What a move by Waller there to pick up the deuce.
And now a timeout taken by Cheltenham as the lead has dwindled down to 4 with a minute 35 remaining in regulation. We'll keep it here. Chris Markowitz alongside Jack Cap. And Cap, if you're in the huddle right now as head coach Patrick Fleury of Cheltenham, what are you telling your team as they have had a couple turnovers late in this fourth quarter?
I think what they need to do is not panic, first of all, put the pressure on in the backcourt, and they really don't need to take a foul till much later on in this game. So what they need to do is play really strong defense and try to get a stop and get a basket on the other end to bring this game within 2 or within 1. If they can do that, then they'll be in a much better position. What they need here is a stop. Okay? Now, if Cheltenham holds the ball, of course, they're going to have to take a foul at some point, but it's going to have to get down into the 30-second range before they take that foul.
Cheltenham will inbound out of the timeout with a 4-point lead, a minute 35 remaining in the fourth quarter of play.
Still a lot of time left.
McLean to get it in. Full court press here by Abington.
As we predicted.
Now Moore gets a screen,
Good
crosses
screen.
the timeline, gives it up. That's Coleman, and he is fouled.
See, now I think it's a little early for that deliberate foul. That was, I'm not going to say intentional, we'll say deliberate. But he grabbed him from behind. It can be called an intentional foul. Referees disdain that. They don't like to do that. It is in the book. I mean, if you're not playing the ball, that's an intentional foul. It is not called, and he'll go to a line 1-and-1. What I'm trying to point out, I think it was a little early for that.
Free throw no good by Coleman.
However, it goes to their benefit, and now it looks like a smart foul.
Abington gets it across the timeline. That's Waller, double teamed, loses the ball, and it's out of play, last touch by Emfinger.
It's going to stay with the Ghosts. Get a sub in this game, I believe, right?
Yep, Coleman goes to the bench. He is replaced by Salim Payne with a minute 12 remaining in regulation.
The Ghosts were named after the great football player, Red Grange, who wore number 77, the best player, I think, of the first half of the 20th century, and they took the name Galloping Ghost. That was his nickname. And then in later years, I think they changed it to just Ghosts. I'm not sure what the official name is.
Waller to get in from the baseline. He finds Bell. Layup no good. Hit both sides of the rim. Cheltenham in transition. A foul is called on Payne, and he did not want the foul to be called because he had an open lane for a layup and a cutter ahead of him.
And in this case, I think that foul just needed to be taken there to stop that momentum. Joey Brusha took the foul, I think.
Joey Brusha with the foul, his fourth of the contest.
Yeah, Joey's got a few fouls here, and these are important free throws.
Payne's first look rattles in and out.
So far, Charles Grasty's strategy to take fouls has worked.
Waller kicks. Bell into the corner. Brusha.
He's in trouble.
Back to Bell. 53 seconds on the clock. Bell on the drive. Tough shot. Can't get it. Put back is good. An athletic finish by Frazier. One possession game.
Frazier right on top of it. There's that deliberate foul again. That can be called an intentional. They really need to go for the ball. They are testing this officiating crew, and they need to go for the ball or they may call an intentional foul. This is now 2 shots at the line because it's a double bonus.
Foul is on Robert Bell, his third. First free throw, no good. Some confusion as McGlone didn't know that it was the double bonus.
Thank goodness the referees were right on top of that. And now the official will speak to one of the players there.
Cheltenham in the final 2 minutes of this game, 0 for 3 from the free throw line.
As I said,
they've had 3 opportunities to ice this one on the charity stripe, have missed all 3 attempts.
As I was saying, the strategy of taking fouls so far has worked out, even though I thought it was a bad strategy, but what do I know? Something just went wrong with the clock.
Clock has been reset to 4 minutes and 26 seconds.
That's not good.
Now obviously that's going to be corrected. One of the referees at the scorer's table trying to sort it out.
Head referee over there, and they knew how much time was left.
So they put 38.6 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, I don't know how the clock just went haywire like that, but 38.6 is correct. 1 shot at the line. This is a very important free throw.
And now the visitors student section getting into it for Abington, making a lot of noise. This free throw good by Payne. And now a substitution onto the floor for Cheltenham. Brandon Hawkins, the 6-foot junior guard, enters for the first time tonight.
Payne hits the free throw and steps right out. I believe that's his first points of the game. His first point of the game.
Payne 1 for 2 on the trip to the free throw line, 1 for 3 on the night. And now Abington calling a timeout with 33.7 seconds to go. We'll keep it here. Chris Markowitz alongside Jack Cap. It's a full timeout, but a lot to talk about at the end of this one, Cap. This has been a back-and-forth ball game and a wild final 2 minutes of play.
Wow.
It starts with Cheltenham getting fouled. A lot of opportunities at the free throw line to ice this one. Unable to convert on the line. And then on the other end, Abington, with a couple loose balls on the floor, able to somehow regain possession, find cutters to the basket, a couple second chance looks, and they're a possession away from tying it late.
I mean, this is a great game. If we could wake Michael Jackson up, he'd be doing the moonwalk, because this is a thriller, Chris. This is a thriller, and we're enjoying every moment of it. 56-53, 33.7 seconds left. Was that a 30-second timeout, or was that a full?
The full timeout.
That was a full, so they've used up 3 full timeouts and a 30. Abington has 1 30-second timeout remaining and 2 30-second timeouts remaining for Mr. Fleury of the home team Panthers.
Every second crucial now in the closing moments of this game. So
something interesting here, and it may not come into play, but Cheltenham only has 4 team fouls. Should Abington get the lead somehow, they would be in a little bit of a fix there because of just having the 4 fouls. But we shall see how this plays out. On the other side, Abington has 10, as we mentioned. So Cheltenham, every time they are fouled, will be in the 2-shot double bonus. And here's our throw-in in front of the scoring table.
Student section chanting for their defense to get a stop here. Bell gives it up. That's Frazier. Abington doesn't need to go for the 3 yet. Plenty of time on the clock. Brusha, his pass broken up. taken away by McGlone. Up ahead now, that's Moore. Back to McGlone, but Moore was bumped, and he will go to the line in the double bonus. A costly turnover by Joseph Brusha.
Unfortunately, Joey Brusha, his pass was not strong enough, and it was taken by the good defense of Panthers, and Abington was forced to take a foul, 2 shots.
Moore, short on the first attempt. 17 seconds remaining.
Moore has 9 points.
If Moore misses, do you go for 3 if you're Abington?
No, I'd go for the quick 2.
Second free throw, no good. Frazier hauls in the board. Nearly has it stolen, picks up his dribble, kicks it up to Brusha. Deep 3, way off the mark. Loose ball, put back is good. Laid in by Waller. Clock still running, and now we'll stop with 2.7 to go. McGlone fouled. That sends him to the line, but I'm confused why the clock didn't stop.
There was no timeout called. Nobody called a timeout. That timeout has to be called. I mean, I think they have one left, according to my records here. Maybe there was a 5th timeout that they used that we didn't get. But I'm keeping track of it. I have them with 4 timeouts. That timeout should have been as soon as the basket was scored. But the clock does not stop in high school basketball.
Well, 2.7 remaining. First free throw is off the mark by McGlone.
Now it's 2.7 seconds for Abington to get an opportunity. Here it is.
And now timeout taken by Cheltenham.
Was it Cheltenham?
Yeah, Cheltenham takes the timeout with 2.7 to go to talk defensive strategy.
Why is the official speaking to Grasty?
A lot of confusion. Was that a timeout taken? Are you?
Let's see what happens here.
I'm confused here, Jack.
Well,
I thought that was a Cheltenham timeout.
They still haven't shown the call. The 3 referees are coming into a meeting here. It looks like a football game when they meet on the field there, but here it is right here. Still no indication. I don't know who called the timeout, but if it was Abington, that means they had a timeout left, as I thought they did, and that would be their last timeout right now. It would be a 30-second timeout, and there are only 30-second timeouts left for the Panthers also. So either way, it was a 30-second timeout. And the referees need to get them onto the court right now.
Well, Cheltenham on the floor right now waiting for Abington. And this is going to be a difficult shot to get off, regardless of whether or not McGlone hits the free throw. 2.7 on the clock.
Yeah, but I mean, if he hits the free throw, it's pretty much, it's over. Well, no, it's not. No, that's right. It's 56-55. That would give them a 2-point lead.
3-pointer would win it.
Right, they'd have to go for the,
it's enough time. It's
they'd
tough
have to go
to
for
set
the
up,
desperation.
but it's enough time.
So either way, if he hits it or it doesn't hit it, we're going to see a desperation heave, I would think.
Here's McGlone. Second free throw, pure.
And here we go.
Frazier to inbounds. Heaves it down court. Pass broken up. Lands in the hands of number 13, Caleb Baker, who ties it at the buzzer. Are you kidding me? Baker misses the first, but gets the putback. A huge layup as the clock expires.
Wow.
They'll discuss it.
Caleb Baker, what an incredible effort by him. That is a good basket, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good basket. He missed the first one, and he was the only one that went after the rebound, put it in, and it counts. We're going to another period.
Caleb Baker.
Wow.
Had a pass from Ulrich Frazier, traveled 70 feet in the air. It went through the hands of 2 Cheltenham defenders. Lands in the hands of Baker, who looked at it as if a gift had fallen in his lap. Misses an open look to send it to overtime. Gets his own board, though, and puts it in at the buzzer.
He had the knowledge, the wherewithal, and the sense that he could go for the second shot, and I don't think there was any question about it. I think it was good.
Well, the referees say it's good. We obviously don't have a second look at it right now because we don't have any replay on it. unfortunately, tonight. But I thought it was good, Jack Cap. It looked like he was off the finger.
I mean, look, high school basketball is a little different. We don't have the red light over the backboard. We don't have any of that type of thing. It's a little hard to hear the buzzer, especially with our headphones on. But the referee never hesitated. It was good right away. And we are heading into overtime number 1.
What an exciting ending it was for that fourth quarter as we move into the first overtime in this very evenly matched game. What a pass by Ulrich Frazier to Caleb Baker, and a stunning ending to this end of regulation with Baker following his own shot and beating the buzzer, and I mean just barely beating the buzzer. There was no pressure on the inbounds pass. It's an interesting point to note, and it was a 70-foot pass, and Baker was pretty much by himself. And when that ball came down for that offensive rebound, everybody else kind of just froze. Now, let's go back a little bit just prior to that, and let's take a look at, first of all, I think I detected a box and one on Brusha, which was interesting. And then Cheltenham was able to get the ball back with a bad pass across the lane there. There was an ending there where there was no timeout called by Abington as the clock started to run out. I think they had a timeout left. In fact, I'm almost positive they had a timeout left. That's one part of it. Why didn't they call a timeout? The other part is when that ball goes through, the clock continues to run. If the timeout is not called, why is Cheltenham rushing to get the ball inbounds? 1.5 seconds to get that ball inbounds. Why not just let the clock run out if Abington's not calling the timeout and you have the lead? Didn't quite understand that. Another thing in that fourth quarter is that Cheltenham did not hit their free throws. If the Panthers had hit their free throws, that game would have been over in the fourth quarter. They did not. It ends in a tie. A great, exciting ending with that basket by Caleb Baker, and we move into the first overtime. And that's a hint. There will be a second. See you after the first overtime.
Overtime number 1, and Abington, no strangers to overtime this season. This will be their third contest in overtime this year.
And one was 3 overtimes.
3 overtime loss to Wissahickon, their only conference loss on the season.
Woo! And the way this works here is each team will get one additional full timeout. Okay, everything else remains the same. It's an extension of the fourth quarter. It will start with a jump ball, and the alternating possession will be established after that jump ball is completed. Otherwise, everything remains the same. Once again, each team gets an additional full timeout. All personal fouls and team fouls in the second half are extended.
A raucous environment here at Cheltenham High School. I think the crowd shocked by what happened in the closing moments of that basketball game. It was an 8-point lead with 2:54 to go.
Yeah,
it seemed as if the Panthers were in clear control of the game.
It really did. And I'm very happy, actually, on a personal note, for Caleb Baker, who had some rough plays in the first half. He didn't seem like, he had all his stuff together, and here he is scoring that amazing basket. He will never forget that basket.
Never.
Never.
The highlight of a high school career for Caleb Baker.
Or maybe he'll have some more, but that was, without question, a great play.
Cheltenham with the opening possession. McGlow, no good. Put back, doesn't get the roll. Fight for the board, and a tie-up jump ball is called, and that will be possession to Abington.
Let me tell you, I think it was Travis Coleman was about 45 inches off the ground on that one. In an attempt to get a tap follow. Did not get it. The ball went out. It'll be Abington ball for the throw-in.
As I mentioned earlier, this is Abington's third overtime game of the season. They're 1-1 with a victory over CB East and a loss to Wissahickon. For Cheltenham, their first overtime game all season long. Abington with possession with 3:26 remaining in the first period of overtime.
Steal.
And Baker tries a pass. It's broken up, as you mentioned, nearly stolen by Michael McLean.
Yeah, he had his hand on the ball and coming into the game now, I believe, is Kareem Boyd.
Yeah, he will replace Caleb Baker. Baker goes to the bench to get a quick breather. Waller to get it in on the close sideline. He finds Bell on the inbounds.
And Baker getting some instruction from Coach Grasty. He did something wrong. I'm not sure what it was.
Now Waller dribbling left, goes around a screen right.
What a game.
Bell guarded tight. That's Coleman on him. He swings to Waller, who drives baseline. Layup is partially blocked by McGlone. Out of play. Last touch by Abington.
McGlone showing his defensive prowess once again on the baseline with the block. Fans are getting their $5 money's worth today, Chris. That's what it costs to get in here, $5.
Well, it's $5 well spent.
Well spent.
A great game between two PIAA rivals.
Both of these teams will be heard from down the road.
Moore.
Oh!
Get it to go. Put back no good by McGlone, and now he is bumped.
Wow.
But a foul called on. Did they get him with the foul?
No, it's just out of bounds. McGlone was so
excuse
far
me.
up in the air. I don't even know if he came down on that second tap. That was amazing athletic prowess there, though it did not result in a basket. Oh, so close.
So a turnover for Cheltenham after the missed shot and then the putback attempt by McGlone. But you're right, Jack Cap. He soared to get up for that one.
Yes, he did.
On the other end, Bell knocks it in from 17 feet. Robert Bell with a basket to give Abington a lead in this first overtime. It's a 2-point lead, and now a time taken by Cheltenham. 2:02 remaining in the first period of OT. Chris Markowitz alongside Jack Cap here for the Sports Fan Base Network. And my apologies if my voice is getting a little raspy, man. This has been an exciting one, and I lost a lot of my energy on that call when Baker tied it at the end of regulation. What a game this has been so far.
It's been tremendous. I don't want to predict anything, but there's already been a 7 overtime game in this area this year. Bishop Wood was in a 7 overtime game, and neither of us will have a voice left if that were to occur. And we'll be hungry too.
Might have to go to the bullpen and get our backup announcer Sean Kelly.
Sean Kelly might have to step in. But we're in our first overtime here. A 2-point lead now for the visitors from right up the road. If you went up Rice's Mill Road, which is where Cheltenham sits, it turns into Highland Avenue. And if you go up about 1.5 miles, you're going to bump right into Abington High School. I don't think there's two power high schools in the state that are geographically closer than these two high schools. Less than 2 miles apart. On the same road, basically.
Well, it's an easy trip for either team to make. That's why a large crowd tonight. We were told before the game it was going to be packed. We had to be careful where we set up all our equipment for this broadcast tonight because just very hard to find some space here in this gym. It's a packed house.
And we're very glad that the fans, cheerleaders, and et cetera, have not blocked our view all that much as in some other gyms that does occur.
Cheltenham with possession of the basketball. Less than 2 minutes remaining in the first period of OT. They trail by 2. Ball on the floor, taken away by Bell. Pass up ahead. It's Boyd, and he loses it out of play. Can't hold it in. Excuse me, that was Fields, by the way, not Boyd, who couldn't hold it in.
And that is because of the effort by McGlone getting down court and getting his hand on that ball, I believe, too. And it went off of the Abington player.
Moore guarded tightly, gets a screen. Guarded out of 3, now he kicks. Payne back up top to McLean. Emfinger to Moore. Deep 3 off the mark. McGlone loses it.
McGlone was shooting that before he had it. He had nobody in front of him.
Bell up ahead, shot blocked, putback no good, second putback no good, but a foul called.
There's going to be a foul from the trail official on the opposite side of the court. The foul is on Michael McLean.
Connor Fields is bumped. He'll go to the line.
Fields will get a deuce at the line.
And they get McLean with the foul, his first, as you mentioned, the 15th foul for Cheltenham. Student section getting into it, trying to force a miss here by Connor Fields. And I can't even hear myself think. First free throw money.
Fields with the free throw. It's his third point of the game. On my scorecard, very calm at the line. A 3-point lead for the visiting Ghosts.
Fields, the 6'4" sophomore. Second free throw, score. 2-possession game, 1:12 remaining in OT. Payne across the timeline.
Ooh.
Floater, short. Ball out of play, last touched by Abington, says the baseline official. So it'll be possession to Cheltenham with 60 seconds remaining in the first overtime.
Well, Cheltenham needs to get a score here to stay in this contest.
McGlone from 3, off the mark. Rebound put in by McLean.
So many options on this Panther team for scoring with the great follow McLean. Here we go.
Frazier across the timeline, kicks. And now a double dribble is called on Connor Fields.
You know what? I thought I saw that, and I didn't hear the whistle, but it must have been a little weak or late, or maybe we didn't hear it because of the headphones, but I thought I saw that when it occurred, and it was called.
Big turnover by Abington. Cheltenham trailing by 2 with 34 seconds remaining in OT. They need a basket on this possession. More inside. Emfinger gets it.
What a pass.
Excuse me, that was McLean. Lays it in to tie it.
That's McLean. What a pass by Moore. It's a tie game, under 20 seconds.
Harrison. Timeout taken. Timeout Abington with 14 to go in regulation. Crowd going wild. Michael McLean with baskets on back-to-back possessions. The first one was a putback on a missed shot from 3. The second one, a beautifully set up cut to the hoop. And it's a tie ball game with 14 and a half seconds to go. But Abington, Jack Cap, will have one final look at the hoop for a chance to win it at the buzzer. What are you drawing up in the huddle if you're head coach Charles Grasty?
That's a very good question. I would have somebody penetrate, but I want to set a high screen. First thing you got to do is get the ball inbounds. And there's definitely going to be some pressure on the inbounder and man-to-man on everybody else. So the idea is to get the ball inbounds. Now look at the number of fouls that Cheltenham has in the second half and overtime. It's 5, okay? Just throwing that out there in case they need to take a foul at some point. Actually, Cheltenham has a foul to take.
They do. They have a
If
foul.
you think about it in that direction, they have a foul to take, yeah.
They can give one foul,
And they
so
may
you got to
do
be
that.
smart with it.
Yeah,
though.
they may do that. Definitely don't want to foul when a guy's shooting, but you want to take some time off the clock and then upset the rhythm of their opponent and probably take a foul under 8 seconds, I would think. Yeah.
Well, crowd getting into it. Both teams making their way back out onto the floor.
So the ball will come in opposite of the bench on the timeline. And here's the pressure.
Waller to get it in. Robert Bell hands it off to Waller in the backcourt.
We're under 10.
8 seconds to go. Waller into the lane, fouled from behind.
Exactly what I predicted.
So,
under 8 seconds, they're at 6.9.
Smart foul there, as McGlone knew he was beat, so he fouled him from behind. It's on the floor, so it'll be an inbound from the baseline with 6.9 to go.
Yeah, just under 7 seconds for Abington to execute their offense here. They do have a timeout, I believe, a 30.
Waller to get it in.
Uh-oh.
High pass into the backcourt. Broken up. Somehow Bell picks it up. 2 seconds on the clock. Bell for 3. Off the mark. We're going to double overtime.
Oh, boy. Here we go. What a contest we are seeing tonight. That pass was made deep into the backcourt, or actually in the near backcourt, and was almost picked off by Emfinger.
And Finger nearly took it away and laid it in on the other end, but Bell somehow got off a shot with no no good. We'll go to overtime. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Double overtime action coming up next here on the Sports Fan Base Network.
The regulation ended at 57-57, and only 4 points were scored by each team in this quarter for this first overtime, 61-61. We move into the second overtime. Now, Abington has been in 3 overtime games up to this point, including a triple overtime loss to Wissahickon. Cheltenham opens in a man and then moves to a 2-3 defense. And tell me if I'm wrong, watch it and write back to us, but I think Abington was in a 1-3-1 for most of this overtime. Interesting choice. There's been a lot of defenses that have been tried by both coaches, presses, one-man presses, full-court presses, 2-3s, man-to-man, et cetera, in this game. So there's been a lot of thinking going on the bench and getting that information out to the players on the court. A beautiful pass by Justin Moore to Michael McLean on a dive inside at 23.3 seconds left. What a pass by Moore. Abington called a timeout, 14.6 left. It was their ball, and Cheltenham had a foul to take. After 2 quarters, third and fourth quarter, and the overtime, they still only had 5 team fouls on the board. They were able to do that at 6.9. The layup that followed did not count because that foul was prior to the shot. Long pass from the baseline was stolen. Robert Bell missed the last shot, and we move into the second overtime of this exciting game. See you after the second overtime.
Double overtime at Cheltenham High School. Chris Markowitz alongside Jack Cap here for the Sports Fan Base Network. And Jack Cap, 40 minutes has not been enough to decide this one. We're all knotted at 61.
Well, I'm enjoying every minute of this. I know you are also. Clearly the game of the year for SFBN.
McGlone will jump center with Frazier to decide who gets possession to start second overtime.
Abington.
And Abington wins the jump.
First arrow will go to the home team.
Waller guarded tightly. Good defense by Payne. Waller with a lob, it's broken up. Intended for Fields. McGlone now in transition. Off the mark on the layup. Too strong.
Yeah, too strong. He went reverse on that, very fancy move, but he really never saw the basket. He spun the ball the wrong way.
Waller settles into the half court. He drives. Euro step short. A nice move to get the open shot, and now a travel is called.
Enfinger is called for dragging his pivot foot. He didn't feel like he did it, and neither does the crowd.
I don't think the home crowd's ever agreed with the call against their team.
Wow, it's a loud, raucous, excited, and involved crowd here at Cheltenham.
What an atmosphere here for a double overtime performance. This has been everything you could have asked for and more from these two squads here tonight.
Definitely one of the best games in the vaunted rivalry.
I would argue this is one of the better games we've had
It is.
in Sports Fan Base Network history.
It is up there.
3:08 remaining in the second period of overtime. Bell into the post. He feeds Frazier. Ball stripped. Loose on the ground. Fight for possession, and wins it. Cheltenham now on the other end. Moore layup. Gets it to fall. Flexes on the baseline. Justin Moore with a tough look.
I was going to say that was bad shot selection. I don't know how he got that ball up. He drove on 3 players.
Corner 3. Baker short. Follows his own shot. Gets the board. And an offensive foul as Baker lowered the shoulder.
I think that was the right call.
Baker not pleased with it, but I agree with Jack Cap.
Yes.
There was definitely some lowering of the shoulder, some intentional movement to move his defender with his body, and the defender was set on the baseline.
No question, the defender had position. Now the question is, did he absorb enough contact for it to be a player control foul, or was it a flop? And sometimes when the head snaps back, it looks like a flop, and that's what it did look like to Coach Grasty.
Cheltenham with possession. They have a 2-point lead, 2:20 to go. Finger, 4-3. Long, put back, no good by McGlone. Gets another board, goes up. Can't get the roll, and then gets another tip in.
McGlone is everywhere. How many McGlones are there? Oh my
Three
goodness.
Abington defenders. McGlone somehow tips it in.
He is a man amongst youngsters out there.
4-point lead for Cheltenham. Waller, no good on the left, gets his own miss and puts it in. Waller banged up on the play, but gets back to his feet unassisted. 1:39 remaining in double OT. It's a 2-point lead for Cheltenham. Panthers in no hurry on offense. Moore dribbles towards the paint, now pulls it back out. Drops it off for McCain, now he gives it back to Moore. 1:16 remaining. Moore on the drive, floater, no good, too strong.
Yeah, he didn't have to shoot that. I don't know why he went to the hoop there at that point.
Waller in transition, has it stripped, gets it back. Bell now slows things down with 1 minute remaining. Abington needs a basket. Bell off the mark, put back, no good by Baker.
Baker thought he was fouled, and he may have been. Under 50 seconds now.
A 2-point lead for Cheltenham, and if you're Abington, you got to think about when to foul. All Cheltenham has to do is hold on to the basketball.
Ball is tipped away at 37.5 remaining, still 2-point lead for the Panthers. They'll get the ball right near their bench.
Inbounds to the backcourt, goes to Emfinger. He gets it up to Payne, and now a whistle for a foul.
I don't think that foul should have been taken again. I think it's a little too early for that, but that's what Abington is choosing to do. So far, it has been successful because Cheltenham has not hit their foul shots.
Salim Payne 1 for 3 from the stripe here tonight, and he struggled down the stretch at the free throw line, excuse me.
He's getting some heat from under the basket there.
First free throw's good.
Salim doesn't care right now. He has only one thing in mind, and it's to hit these free throws.
Now a referee timeout is called on the other end of the floor.
Something's happening on the other end of the floor. Once again, there is a wet spot on that end of the floor. That's the 4th time we've seen that.
So we will wait for the officials to clean up the spot on the opposite end of the floor.
And the event staff is out there with the red shirt helping. And another free throw here.
Payne with a chance to make it a 2-score game. Got it. A 2-possession lead for Cheltenham with 32 ticks of the clock remaining in OT. Waller drives, layup, blocked, but a foul.
That's going to go against, I believe, McGlone. It does.
And that's his 4th.
Number 4. He is dangerously close to fouling out of this game. 5,000 high school basketball will eliminate you.
Waller on the line, shooting 2. Loud, raucous. First free throw gets the shooter's roll off the front rim.
That's his 11th point of this half.
Waller. Long. Rebound Cheltenham. Emfinger pulled it in. Pass down the court. It's complete. A layup on the other. Good. Payne lays it in. Clock moving. 13 seconds to go. Waller on the other end. Kicks it. Corner 3. Stuffed by McGlone with 8.2 remaining.
And with all the great plays we've had in this game, that's the best play we've had right there.
McGlone with a monster block to deny Connor Fields a 3-point shot in the corner. It's a 5-point lead for Cheltenham with 8.2 remaining. Fields on the drive, has it blocked, but a foul. They get Emfinger with the foul. Clock stopped with 5.5 seconds remaining. So
now there's a situation where that you really don't want to play much defense right there because now the clock is stopped. Now let's say he had scored that basket. The clock would have run unless Abington called their 30-second timeout.
Fields gets the roll on the first free throw attempt.
So
now a timeout taken by Cheltenham. Head coach Patrick Fleury wants to talk things over with his squad. They've got a 4-point lead, free throw pending. So it could be a 2-possession game, could be a 1-possession game. In the case that Abington is able to convert, if Fields knocks the second one down, what is the strategy here for Cheltenham?
To avoid getting fouled. Get the ball in bounds cleanly, get the ball in bounds and avoid being fouled. And Abington will need, let's say he hits that shot, so 69-66, Abington will need to take an immediate foul and be careful that it's not called intentional. And that's our situation.
5.5 remaining to go. Not much you could do right now. Other than that, if you're Abington, you have to take this free throw if you're Fields and then hope, like you said, Cap, for a foul and 2 misses on the other end. As the double bonus well into effect here deep in overtime.
I think Cheltenham has to be very wary of the 5-second inbounding violation. If they get the 4, they've got to call their last timeout. I believe they have a 30-second timeout left. So I'm sure Coach Fleury is discussing that aspect in the huddle also, and they break. Cheltenham on the floor, and Abington will be there momentarily.
It all starts with the free throw attempt by Fields.
And here comes the Ghosts.
Connor Fields has to hit this one to keep Abington alive in the game. It would take a miracle to come back from down 2 possessions with just 5.5 to go.
Clearly needs to hit this throw.
Still would be a tall order if he converts.
Oh, he misses
Tries
it on purpose.
to miss it on purpose.
I don't think that's
Abington
the right thing to do.
can't get the board, and now dribbling across the baselines more. He takes 3.5 seconds off the clock.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't have done that.
And that will most likely do it with 1.9 to go. 4-point lead for Cheltenham. I think it's safe to assume that this is another home victory in conference for the Panthers.
And what a tough game it was. I just hope we get to see that last game of the season with these two teams facing off. And that'll do it, folks. Big second half for young Justin Moore, the sophomore. 6'1", about 160 pounds. Cool as a cucumber.
Moore 2 for 2 on his trip.
That'll do it.
It's just a formality now. Crowd getting into it. The I Believe We Will Win chant starting up in the stands. And Cheltenham comes away with the victory. The Panthers remain unbeaten and in first place in the Suburban One American Conference. They improved to 13-2 overall, 7-0 in conference play. Abington falls to 8-6 on the year, 6-2 in conference play. Jack Cap, your final thoughts on a wild overtime game?
A wild game indeed, and needless to say, Abington brought it in here as the visitor to their rival, and it was a thriller, to say the least. We enjoyed every minute of it, and we I hope you did too.
Final score once again, Cheltenham High School 71, Abington High School 65. That'll do it for us here tonight. For our crew, for my partner Jack Cap, and for our producer and director Sean Kelly, I'm Chris Markowitz saying so long and good night from Cheltenham High School.
Well, we finally have a winner in this SFBN Game of the Year between Cheltenham Panthers and the Abington Galloping Ghosts. What a game it was. Very, very exciting. Even right down to the end where Cheltenham took that 5-point lead and was able to hold it. Kind of some interesting things happened at the end there that I'd like to cover. And There was a point when Abington moved down the court and McGlone blocked a three-point shot into the stands. Best play of the game, in my opinion. Just a beautiful, clean block on Connor Fields at 8.6 seconds left. Now, at this point, it was a 5-point game. Fields then goes to the hoop, and for some reason, Emfinger fouls him. I don't know why. There was no reason for a foul there. You have a 5-point lead, and the clock is going to run out anyway, so why foul him? He goes to the line. He hits the first. And then he misses the second on purpose. Down by 4 at this point. Don't understand that one. Still trying to figure that one out. Why would you, maybe someone can explain it to me, but why would you miss that free throw? You're down by 4, and there's 1.8 seconds left, I believe, at that point. I'm sorry, 5.5 seconds left. Don't quite understand that. Moore then goes down and hits the 2 free throws for Cheltenham, and the final score is 71-65. So it's a 6-point final in a very, very closely matched game, an exciting game. We enjoyed calling it on the court. My favorite game of the year. Hope you enjoyed watching it. We'll be back in a couple of days with another great SFBN Classic. We'll see you then. Jack Cap signing out.
Thank you for watching this edition of SFBN Classics. We hope you enjoyed that game. Please like our Facebook page and also follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube page. And for more information about us, go to www.thesfbn.com. I'm Ari Bluestein. Have a good night.